Good morning and welcome to the early bird and welcome to winter, 1st of June. And here we're looking at the XJO ASX 200 on a daily chart. And just to go over what we're looking at here, we're looking at this as a five-wave structure to the downside through here. And after a five-wave downside, then we'd be looking for a three-wave counter trend like this here, smaller ABC inside of this. And smaller once again in the A wave here would be looking for five waves here, three waves here, and five waves here for the C wave. We're looking for this in this particular trend channel coming down through here. However, the 618 up here is the normal area for a wave 2 to move back, and that would bring us in at the 4,830 thereabouts. So I had this down in here because I figured that markets, depending on whether the Dow broke through the 12,300 or the 12,500. So markets are looking quite positive. So we can sort of lift this level here to further up here. And this ABC correction here will still be in play here, but we can just make it a little bit larger. So this A wave would come up through here, and then the B wave would be sort of over here a little bit, but still looking for the same structure here. The only reason that I would change this to a bullish count from here is if the 4,800 here became support. And that's possible as well. It's not always being about being right with Elliott Wave, and that's why we use the trading levels, because it's a game of support and resistance and money management. So we are basically long through here at this stage, and we can continue to be long until this particular ABC structure finishes, and then we will see what we're going to do. So we will be reducing into this area here. Of course, the indices will get here first. Of the stocks create the indices, but while this indice is up here, we'd want to see the stocks turn first. But we can sort of, we wouldn't want to be doing any buying into this particular area here as such. We'd want to be reducing and would allow for the correction to occur here. And if it was a correction and it found support, then we'll continue being long. If this gets locked under here, then we'll look to be shorting down through here. So that's pretty much it. The numbers that we'll be looking for to the upside here would be the 47, which we've been looking at, but 4772 and the 4,800 here. Now the XAO, the top 500 companies, would be closer to the would reach the 4,800 first. So as that does reach that today, then we'll see this find resistance in here. This structure that we're looking for here, as I mentioned, is we're looking for five waves moving up through here. So when we're looking at the XJO on an intraday chart, it looks a little bit like this. So this is the A wave that we're looking at. This would be the B wave here, which would be in three waves, and then the C wave going up here. This C wave going up here will look quite similar to this one here, and will also be in five waves. So this would be five waves, three waves as a counter trend, and then five waves up. So I can see that all this structure within here is all fine. It's all sort of natural to me. The wave 1's okay, the wave 2, the wave 3, the wave 4 back to here. The wave 5 here, this will obviously push up here higher today here. So we'll look at that coming in here, but it's kind of expecting, some high to come in here, and then a three-wave correction coming in through here. Now, the Australian dollar has got the same sort of wave count in coming up through here, as I mentioned yesterday. So when we look at the Australian dollar here, we're looking at, I've pulled this apart a bit, but but anyway, look, basically we're looking for 5 waves up through here. That seems to be in play now. So what we'd be looking for here is the A, B, and C. So this is kind of leading the way a little bit. So the Dow was up like 1%. So we may not see this ours come off just yet, perhaps tomorrow. But we're looking for something like the A, the B, and the C wave here. I've put this at the 61.8% retracement level as a B wave does. So 5 waves up here as an impulse wave, and then an A and a B and a C at 61.8%. If that's not the case and we get support on the 107 here, then of course we can go long from that point there. The markets do look bullish and in the Asian region, and we can take our sort of lead from Hong Kong, and I just want to bring up its chart, so please bear with me here. Okay, so the Hang Seng here, you can see that it's up strong here, but what we're looking at here, just in the bigger picture here, which I wanted to bring in here, that we were looking for a 5-wave structure here in terms of, this is the 3rd wave here. You can see how nice and long and strong it is. Yeah. So that being the 3rd wave in here, then this corrective pattern here, because it's got overlapping wave structures here, the highs and the low overlapping each other. So we'll always considering this a wave 4, and a wave 5 would make a new high above the medium level here, 2,500 here. So yes, so this is what we expect here. So I was kind of considering that our local market, if it was going to push above 4,800, then it will take the lead from here. This would be pushing up into this sort of area up here. So we'll see how that goes. We'll take a bit of a lead from there, and the other Asian markets will be there as well. As you notice with our market, this is the all orders here. You can see that the all orders have come sort of right back down through here, and the Dow Jones is a bit like this as well, and so are the so is China, the Shanghai and Shenzhen is like this as well, where some of the other Asian markets haven't pulled back this far, and they're further up here and ready to sort of move up higher and make new highs in in that area. So the Chinese market, the Australian market, and also the Dow Jones as well. When we look at that, just bear with me a second, we'll find it. You can see that the Dow is quite down through here as well. So what we were looking at here on the Dow Jones, we're looking at this on this this situation here. We understood that there was support all the way from the 12,000 all the way up through here. All these are the minor levels, so and we can see that congestion in here. So there's plenty of support there. But for a stronger move to the upside, we wanted to see the Dow Jones break out of this range here, out of these 2 levels here, to give us the next direction. So this market, we're looking for, if it found support on the 12.5, then we could look further to the upside. But as you can see, that we can't get too excited that just yet, because it's still in its downtrend, and China's down as well, even though that this market now is at just above 12,500 here. It's not sitting on there as support. Do you know what I mean? It's not hasn't gotten up there and sat on there and sitting on there as support. There's still a lot of resistance with all of this. So just be aware of that, and not to get too excited about shoveling money in on our local market just yet. So we need to see, we want to see support on here, and we'd be looking for that. The wave structure for that is we'd be looking for 5 waves moving up like this. We'd be looking at 3 waves moving back down, sort of checking somewhere in here like that. That 3-wave structure tells us that it's a corrective pattern, and then we'll look to build above that like that. Now, while this is building, and this could be sort of anywhere around this sort of level here. Now, we'll also see stuff in here, but we want to see support on the 12.5 and also on the S&P 500, which is a bit more, got a few more credentials really, because the Dow only covers the top sort of 30 stocks, and The S&P is 500, so it's a bit more sort of wider. But we want to see 1350 on the S&P 500. See if I've got that there. I don't think I've popped it in there. Yes, I have. So what we want to see here is we want to see 1350, which is still a fair way up here. But yes, the market has moved up, but there's 1350 there. So we want to see, this would help us really get the situation there, getting support on that. I know it's quite high there, but that's what we want to see. We want to see the market back above that. Then it can build to the upside from there. But while it's under that, it's at risk. It has moved up last night. I don't have last night's bar in there. So the positive wave structures that we're looking for the upside here, in terms of if we get five waves there, then we can be guaranteed of another 5 here. So that 5 waves is really important. It would be a counter trend in here, but that 5 waves there, that impulse wave, gives us another 5 waves over here. So when we're looking at the S&P 500 or the Dow, bring this in here. This is the S&P 500. So this is the S&P 500 here, and you can see here that all this price action in here is the resistance. That's where a lot of volume was turned over, and as this price comes back up through here, anybody that was going long within this area here, it's an opportunity for them to get their money back, and and the grief, so to speak. So look, what we are looking for here is we are looking for a positive wave structure to the upside, and looking at 5 waves here. So we don't have the fully developed 5 wave structure in here yet. It is developing, but it also can be corrective as well. So there's still more work to be done here. But this 1350, it's not a long way off the futures market here, or CFD, same thing, close enough. But 1350 there as support would really help the impulse pattern to the upside and swing that bias to the upside. But we would need to see the 5 wave structure in terms of the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, and the 5 to the upside. That 5 waves tells us that there will be another 5 waves to the upside. And the Dow Jones is the same as this as well, here in its own way as well here, in terms of up for 1, the A, the B, and the C, and then still impulsing to the upside through here. But as I mentioned the other day, is that we want to see the 12,500 as support, and that's been the case there as well. So you can see that it's retested here. It'll probably develop more support and so forth, but we should see it build further to the upside. Now there is some news coming out today, or just tonight in the US. There's stuff coming out for our local market here. Our GDP figures are coming out, which appear to be down. So that's at 11:30, so be aware of that. We've also got some manufacturing figures coming out from China as well, 11 o'clock. So that will knock the SPY around, so be a bit careful about that. But tonight in the US, what we really want to be sort of focused on is the ADP non-farm payroll figures coming out, because that would give us a lead into the employment figures coming out on Thursday or Friday. So we'll see how we go from that. But they expect to be down a little bit, but that's a bit of a guessing game, that one. So we'll see. But whatever those ADP figures are coming out on tonight will give us the lead on the employment figures for later in the week. So we'll be able to use that to understand the technical wave movements better at that point there. Now, that said, with the indices, I'll just touch on the FTSE here. The FTSE's wave structure up here is really, really positive, and what we're seeing here, a little bit like the SPY. In fact, the FTSE is very much like the SPY, except it's 10 times bigger in terms of volume. But what I wanted to point out here is that the wave structures that are moving up through here are expanding and increasing to the upside. The corrections are getting bigger. This correction, this one, and this one. So the whole process expanding to the upside. Of course, the 6,000 is a strong psychological barrier there. So we will see, you know, we've seen the arrival, the reaction, the support. We'll see the first high above the level, then we'll see the retest, and then we'll see a larger correction sort of unfold here. But this is all positive stuff for the FTSE there. This is the FTSE 100. The FTSE 250 would be probably a bit higher. Check on that. Yeah. Okay. So the drivers, looking towards the drivers here. Okay. Gold. As you know, we've been following the structure to the upside here, and in this little fourth wave here, we're looking for the fifth wave to come into here, and I just feel that we're quite sort of close to a bit of a high here, and just in breaking this down a little bit further, we can see that the longest and strongest is in the middle here, so we'll be up for one, back for two. This would be the top of the third wave, either here or here. I just need to do a bit more work on that, but I think it's there. So we'll look for the fourth wave to retest back into 1530 there, and then one more structure to push up through here. So we can see some weakness coming in there in due course, but for the time being, the 1530 is positive. We knew that we'd get a retest back to the 34 there. We'll see how we go there, but we are looking for that little sort of fourth wave in here, in this area here, and another little push up there. And then minimum is a larger correction to unfold from that point there. So just be aware of that. Yep. The oil stocks, crude oil here is doing fine. Just bopping away there. You know, it's done everything that we're thinking, just a bit slower, that's all. But yeah, the push up, the retest, finding support, and now it's working through the little sub levels here. So this is subgroup 1 here, 1, 2, and 3, and you know that normally you trade from one level up to the top of group 1, get out, allow it to have its correction here if and when it finds support on top of the 3 here, yeah, at the top of group 1, then we can start looking at the 105 to be hit at that point. The wave structure is still for the upside, but in terms of trading, you would want the 103 as support there. So all healthy there for the energy sector. And copper, we've been also tracking 5 waves up through here, and to me it's reasonably clear, but we've got up for 1, back for 2, then 5 waves here, up for the 3rd wave here, then we've got the 4th wave back, and then we'll be looking for the 5th wave to go up through here, and that will also have 5 waves in it, which would be the 1, the 2, then 5 waves in this little section here for 3, the little 4 here, and then we're seeing it build up for wave 5 here. So, you know, we're pretty much considering this a top here, right here, but we'll see how we go. It's okay to have the wave count. There is another little wave down here that bothers me. It's this little one here. So this one here may create another 5th wave on here. But I'm just pointing out that here are the 5 waves. We should be looking for a bit of an end process here, but we'll see how we go. And if we see any weakness coming here, well, then we'll know where we are and we'll start tracking it to the downside. But as long as it stays above, if it moves above 410 here, then it's going to affect the. If it moves below the 410, then we can expect it to come much further down through here. And under 410 would really disrupt the local material sector, the XMJ there. So be aware of that. Any sort of true upside here in the bigger picture would be above the 430 here. Yep. When we look at this on the London market, the LME copper here. Bear with me. Okay, so this is the LME here, and of course the trading level 1 up here is the main gist here. And you can see that this is basically the same pattern here that we're looking at with the COMEX. We just use the COMEX because it's the last closing price. It will impact on our local market more so when it opens. So we see here that that we're on the medium level here, 9,000 here, which would be pretty much the same sort of medium level at the $4 because that's a medium level as well on the COMEX there. So that's what we're looking for. So a move under these medium levels here would see us further to the downside and a bigger picture expanding to the downside. But there is a case for this to be corrective here. As you can see here, we've got 3 waves down to this point here, which would be an ABC for an A wave, and then a B wave into here, and a nice C wave in 5 waves coming down to here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this can be a large ABC correction here, like this, and this would be the A wave to this point here. An A wave can be in 5 or 3 waves, a B wave is always in 3 waves, and a C wave is always in 5 waves. So there is a case for this to be a stronger, longer case here. We just need to stay with this and work it a little bit in here. But let's see how we go, because this level in here will tell us eventually if this is going to be support or resistance, and support and a positive wave structure within here would see us make new highs above this level up here, because the normal thing with the levels is that yes, a market can come up and hit the level here and then just be sold off and never come back, but the normal process is that it arrives at a big level, has its reaction, normally a 3-wave correction. So the arrival, the reaction, the support, and then creating the first high above the level here. So the first high above the level here, if we were looking at this, would be a structure like this, and it's normally the 5th wave there. So we would be looking at 5 waves in this little structure here, and at the moment we're just looking at this wave 1 here, and we're looking at its 5 waves within that structure there. So that little 5 waves there would be the little 5 waves that we're looking at just here. Okay, so that's the sort of how it all fits, how Humpty Dumpty fits together. So we'll see. But in terms of actually trading into the real world, as long as this market is above the 410 there, our materials sector will be stable. Alrighty, just before we go, I just want to bring into the this important little aspect in here. This is the US dollar. The US dollar as a futures contract. It's also as an index as well. The US dollar here is against about half a dozen European currencies. Point being here is that from this low here to this high here, the 61.8% is around the 74.30 here. Yep, so we are expecting a wave 2 to come back down through here, but a move under the 74 here would see this market come further down, and what that means is that if it comes under the 74 here, that means that the Australian dollar and the euro will push higher, and also the S&P 500 would be working higher as well, because this move down through here would be the inverse move of the S&P 500. So just looking at here, the red mark through here is the US dollar inverted, so upside down, and the wave count here is the S&P futures contract on the bar chart here. So you can see that the inverse, they're very closely related, and the point being here, just coming back to this, is that a move under the 61.8 retracement level here would help the S&P. It would be a trigger for the S&P and the US markets to move much higher. So yet it's another trigger that we could use, and we'll be aware of that there. And in terms of trading here, people looking at the euro today, then this pattern here has got overlapping wave structures, so it's corrective. So any move below the 74.72, this is all group 2 here. Group 2 is 65, 72, and 80. Okay, so once the 65 becomes resistance that can't get back up, and resistance is simply retesting. So you can see here the market moved through here, retested there, and is failing there. You can see it failing. So that's where you would short it. And then under the 65, the same sort of process as well. But while the US dollar is moving down through here, we'll be seeing the euro push to the upside there. So if we look on the euro on the 2 minutes here, it needs to catch up a bit on the data here, but would see the inverse of this push to the upside there, which would be about right. So first of all, here on the euro, the 144, it's where Gann, Elliott and Fibbo basically meet on that number there. It's also part of the 9 family in the 72, so it's a squaring number in terms of time and price. But what we're looking at here is we're looking for a wave 3 to here, wave 4 to here, wave 5 to here, then we're looking for an A and a B and a C wave to here, and then we're looking for a building process back up through here. So as always, we don't particularly want to go long when we're below such a big number. We want that big number as support, so we want to sitting on top of that. And if that's the case this time, now that we have our ABC correction here, yeah, then we can go up here further. This is typical of a trading levels pattern at a level. It doesn't matter what time frame or what market, they've all got their own little sort of fingerprint, I guess. But here we have the arrival at a number, the reaction, the support, and then 5 waves up through here to get the first high above the level. After we got the first high above the level, then we're looking for a corrective pattern. We're looking for an A and a B and a C pattern here. Now, once we've got that, then if the market pushes back up through that and finds support here, then we can go long at that point. Right, but we want to be above the level. So we want this A, B, C correction here, and then we want to get back up there. Then the trade begins. Then you would use the sub-levels here to scale in on. If you're scalping, you just go to the 10, the 20, and the 30 in here. But also understand that this 30 here is the top of subgroup 1 here. So support on top of here, yeah, you normally trade to that and get out. Then if support came on here, did its correction on here, a bit like, exactly like this here, right? Exactly like that, all of this here, right? But in a very small little version up here. And it would sort of knock around the 20 here as well, which is the pivot within group 1 here. So support on the pivot on the 20, and the normal trading levels classic pattern here, sitting on top of the 30. If 30 becomes support top of group 1, then you can look to be moving up to higher ground there. But group 1 here, its job is to hold that price to the 144, and the group 2 under here, the 65, 72 and 80, its job is to support the market and hold it to that number there. And this is the same at all whole numbers, essentially, with the euro. So 143, 144, 145, etc. Same with the Dow Jones at every 100 points. Same with the SPY. So just fractals in numbers and ratios. Alrighty, good morning and good luck.